How long you think it was gonna take before we got here? Now you gotta prove yourself all over again. Come on.
Ain't nobody coming, I've been gunning from 100 yards, trying to hit my mark, missing every time. This will be the start of the picture perfect. Watch you.
Good morning, Mr. Terry. Welcome to Terrific Terry Tuesday at Parx.
Yes, good morning. How are you today?
I'm doing all right. Looks like you got a little color. You must have been outside yesterday.
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, we were supposed to do a show yesterday. I completely forgot that my son had set up a tea time. So I went to go play golf with my son and wouldn't make it home in time to do Belmont. But in any case, since we didn't get a chance yesterday, we certainly want to make note that here at Horse Racing today, we certainly are grateful and thankful for the sacrifices many, many families have made for the freedoms that we enjoy here in the United States. So our hat and our tip to all of those people with family members who have made the ultimate sacrifice. All right, Terry. So tonight, before we get started, this Friday is going to be the Penn Mile. Sean's going to be at the track on Friday at Penn National. And of course, we had a really good friend there by the name of Tyler Connor. I always want to mess it up with Trevor McCarthy. There's too many T's, you know what I'm saying, with the C in there somewhere. But Tyler's going to be on tonight with you because Julie can't make it, nor can I. So it's going to be you and Sean harassing Tyler to figure out who's going to win that Penn Mile. I know last year he won on a big long shot. So beat Irad on a short price. Let's see if he can do it again. What do you think, Terry?
Yeah, I haven't looked at the race, but probably has a pretty good chance. I'll take a look at that race, see what's going on.
Indeed. And then if you're going to do anything today at Thistledown, make sure you head over to Guaranteed Tip Sheet. You'll see there's a link in the description down below. It is the free track of the day. Bring it up in the beginning here because the first race will be coming up momentarily. Number 3, Channel Fury with our good friend Terry TD Touchdown Houghton. It's going to be the jockey on that one. So another great friend of the show that we wish nothing but great success for. Right, Terry?
That's right.
Good morning, Paulo. How are you? You're from Portuguese. Unfortunately, I don't know Portuguese. Are you from Portugal or from Brazil? I'm guessing, Paulo, you're from Brazil, Lopez. That's my guess, right? That's just a guess.
Yep.
I could be wrong, Terry. All right, but it would be the first time in my existence that I am wrong. We all know that that's not true. You watch the show enough, right?
Yep. Yeah.
And Terry's like, no, that's absolutely untrue. All right. Anyway, 6.5 furlongs for race number 1 at Parx today. Track's fast. The turf's firm. Should be a great day of racing in Bensalem, Pennsylvania. The first time around the track, they're going to run 6.5 furlongs for maiden claiming prize of $20,000, though the cost of the horse, if you want to buy it, is $10,000. That's chump change for our good friend Terry. At 6.5 furlongs, the profile of a winner favors horses with early speed. 33% of the time, Terry, they go wire to wire. There is a strong inside 3 bias. 4 through 7 play a little bit under par from the post positions. 8 and outs does play fair, and we like to do simulations here, Terry. 1,000 speed simulations to see who might be on the lead. We also want to look at the odds to see where you might find good value. And exclusive to horse racing today is Comfort Zone, the horse that's most likely to get the most favorable trip. The higher the number, the better, Terry. What do you see in all this data?
Well, the 7 and the 3 has the most speed in this race, although all of them, except for a couple, show that they have some speed. Looks like the 7's going to be head-to-head with the 3 going to the quarter pole. So we'll have to wait and see there. The overlays, the 4 has a pretty nice overlay. Goes from, just over, I think about 8-5 to 4-1 on the morning line. And then the 5 has another small overlay, like 5-2 to 5-1 on the morning line. And the 7, a very small one that's supposed to be like 5, a little over 5-2. It goes to 7-2 on the morning line. The best C zone is the 2. And then the 6 comes with 1. The rest of them don't have too good of a C zone number.
The rest could be really uncomfortable with this race setup. Interesting that the 5 horse does catch that nice overlay, Terry, and didn't make either one of our picks. We might regret that at the end of race number 1. Looking at race number 1, the race shape here, you have 3 horses that get the NC column. They've never been close, not within 5 lengths of the leader at the finish line. So maybe you can X all of those out. I'm not sure, Terry, but the 2 horse looks like it wants to be up on the lead. And then when we look at the early speed, though, that looks like it belongs to the 7. A little bit of a left arrow horse, a closer. That's an early speed. We'll put it more close to the front than usual. The 3 horse, JSK Pharaoh's Siren, That one could be up there as well. We look at the early speed, late speed combination. We find that 3 horse, the 4 horse, and the 6 horse, they score a little bit better than everybody else. That 1 horse, Terry, looks like it's got a lot of work to do if it wants to find the winner's circle. Maybe you can just X that one out. Who do you think is going to win?
I like the 7, Bluey. He came in from Gulfstream Park to try Parx Racing for the first time and drops in class today, switches to high percentage winning trainer, and has the highest last speed rating. The Boatman, number 4, is my second pick. He finished 3rd versus Tupper in his last race, drops in class today, has a high percentage winning trainer, and switches to high percentage winning jockey, who in the last 7 days has won 7 out of 12 starts. Pretty darn.
He's winning everything in Parx, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Number 6, and I think this is pronounced Doog.
Duke? I don't know.
Instead of dog, Doog. He was well bet and finished 5th in his first start after experiencing trouble. Drops in.
I mean, you could do it the Snoop Dogg way too. DOOQ.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, he experienced problems. He drops in class and has a high percentage winning trainer. Number 2, El Gran Cuyaya. Has an early foot, so the shorter distance should help. And then he has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey also. I'm going to play a 50-cent pick, daily double. I'm going to use the 2, 4, 6, 7 with the 2, 3, 6.
Yeah, I think you meant to say a buck on that because I don't think you can do 50-cent.
Yeah, I did.
Anywhere
I meant a buck.
It would be nice if you could do 50-cent doubles. Anyway, race 1 for me, the Boatman. You had mentioned that Paco's winning everything. It's interesting to me that Paco rode the 7 at Gulfstream Park, hasn't ridden the 4 yet. And what does he do? He rides the 4 instead.
Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting to me. As you mentioned, Bluey, the 7 horse, did run the top last race speed figure at Gulfstream Park. It's what I call a track dropper, but he's also dropping in class as well. Still interesting to me that Paco didn't ride that one. Number 6, DOOQ. We're going to go with the Snoop Dogg pronunciation, Terry. Was well bet in its debut and had a funky trip. Today it's going to drop in class, maybe overcome that funky trip. And then number 2, El Gran Cuyaya. Did flash some early speed last time out. Gets Sofia Vives, which means going to be a little bit of a weight break. And sometimes she takes advantage of that when she's up on the lead. I'm going to do $1 exact the key box. I'm going to put the 4 on top. I'm banking on Paco making the right decision here with the 2, 6, and 7, Terry. In case you're wondering, we do have a $100 budget throughout the entirety of the card. That's why it's called the $100 challenge. So let's see if indeed, Terry, we can get off to a winning start at Parx. Got 2 minutes to the first race. So let's hurry up and make our way through race number 2. What do you think, Terry?
Okay, sounds good.
7 furlongs claiming 7,500, non-winners of 3 lifetime. A 7 furlong race typically goes to the Swift again, 33% of the time. Wire to wire. Again, very strong inside 3 bias. The further you get from the rail, the lower the win percentages go, Terry. In terms of early speed in race number 2, it does look like that's kind of balanced once again.
Yeah, there's several of them. The 7, 2, 3, and 9 have some speed. So it's anybody's guess, really, who gets there. Most of them have speed. And then the 1 has a overlay of 9-2 simulated odds, 8-1 on the morning line. And the 8 is supposed to be around 2-1 on the more simulated odds, and it's listed at 5-1. Most of these, but the 4, 8, and 9 have pretty good. The 4, 8, and 9 have really good C-zones, and most of the rest have some C-zone numbers. So.
Our way to the winner's circle worksheet for race number 2, we find that it's a pretty balanced race. One horse kind of stands out here to me a little bit, Terry. That's the 9 horse, is the lone PC. Sometimes you find a horse that's in one of these columns by itself. They end up getting nice trips, but it looks like the 4 or the 8, they want to be on the lead, and neither one of them has the early speed, at least recently, to get there. That looks like it belongs to the 3 and the 7, your 3 pressure horses, which could make it difficult for the 4 or 8. As far as the late speed is concerned, we're looking at the 1 horse. Where's the Passion, Terry? But got plenty of company coming home at the end. Looking at the early speed, late speed combination, where is the Passion? Scores 6, 7 points higher than the next closest horse. Could have an advantage there, Terry. Looks like they're getting in to the gates for race number 1. So let's go back to picks in race number 1 and see how the race actually plays out.
Okay.
As it stands, the 4 horse is your 8-5 favorite. Coke favorite. Well, now the 7 horse is just taking back over control of that one. Next up on the odds board is the 5 horse, the one that neither one of us has with that overlay. So that could be a little bit scary. The 6 and the 2 are both 8-1. The 1 is 15-1, and the 3 horse at 20-1. I think we have, I don't know how many more horses we have left to go, but the 4 horse, yeah, the 4, he don't want to win today. He doesn't want to
go
win.
in, huh?
I think we have 2 more to go, and then we're done.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, it's Duke, Dooq, Duke. I think it's a little better, the Snoop Dogg version, DOOQ. And I think Bluey's the last to get in. He goes without a problem. They're all in, as Jessica Paquette has to say. And it looks like they're just a second away. It looks like the 1 is acting up a little bit, so they'll probably try to straighten it out. Now the 2 is getting a little upset. And it looks like they're all set. And they can't get that 1 to settle, I guess. Looks like he settled now. Yeah, they're struggling with the 5 too a little bit. They can't get him to settle. The 1 is just being obstinate with the handler in there. He's like, I don't want to go. And their gates are open and the dirt's flying, and the looks like a pretty even start across the board. The 2 horse there, El Gran Cuya, did kind of try to push its way out, and then you got the 3 horse and the 4 horse. You got, man, they're all trying to get for that lead right there, Terry. So this is a pretty aggressive start for the first race. You got the 3 horse, JSK Ferro Sergetti on the lead, 2 horse on the rail, 3's in between horses. You got the 4 on the outside, which is the Boatman. I think that's probably where you want to be. I certainly wouldn't want to be the horse in the middle, but going 3 wide all the way around the track is not helpful either. Kind of a gap then to the rest of the horses. You got the 7 horse trying to make its move now. 3 starting to withdraw a little bit, so it's down to the 2 and the 4 on the lead. That 1 horse, Scamp Walker, trying to make a little bit of a move. The 7 looks like it's flattening out. Through the opening half in 47-1. Paco on the 4 has moved to the head. Now the 7 is rampaging up, but I'm not a big fan of him kind of going off the turn a little bit there. The 7 does look to me like it's going to roll by here, Terry, as your winner. The 4 horse is on the rail struggling, but it looks like to me, no, the 1 horse is going to rally here and have an upset. It looks like perhaps, no, the 7's coming back to life, but the 1 is rallying. I think at the wire, it's going to be the 1, Terry. 1, 7, and 3. 1, 7, and 3. Are you
kidding me?
No. Scamp Walker defying all the odds. Oh, no. Yeah, the Scamp Walker. That's the 1 horse, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, going off at 8-1. Luis Rodriguez Castro coming home with the win. And we really didn't see anything on C-Zone. Scamp Walker there. Do we see anything on the worksheet here? Or is that just the case where a horse beats you, Terry? The horse never ran down here, never showed much. It's kind of hard to back that horse, Terry, based upon the data. But it did manage to come through for the win.
It did. Beat us by a head. Beat that 7 by a head. That's
Indeed.
right.
All right, so now we're going to go on to our picks at race number 2. Hopefully, we do a little bit better than we did in race number 1 there, Terry.
Yeah, well, I like the number 3 as my best pick. I mean, my pick for the for the second race. County Captain. He's won 2 out of the last 4 races, drops in class today, and has a high percentage winning trainer. Celtic Heart, the 6, is my second pick. Takes a big drop in class today and likes the distance, finishing in the money 50% of the starts and winning 25% of the races at today's distance. And then 2, Mr. Tuttle. He has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. I like the 8 as my long shot, Bode O. He drops in class today, has the highest speed figure at today's distance, and a trainer who wins 30% of the races when taking a horse from a route to a sprint. I'm going to play a 50-cent pick 4. I'm going to use the 2-3-6 with the 1-5-6, with the 3-4, with the 1-5-9.
I'm going to start the same place you're going to start with Country Captain in the second race. Country Captain, so all or nothing. It's either put him on the top or put him off your ticket, because at Parx 4 times out, 2 wins and nothing else. But 2 of those wins, both of them came in 3 races at 7 furlongs. So it looks like the right distance. Going to drop a bit in class today as well. Celtic Heart, that 6 horse, Terry, the second choice for both of us. Lowest level in its last 10 races. I'm a bit concerned that it only has 1 workout between races, but it does appear to have the most upside in the race. Bodio, the 8-horse, drops in class as well. Been at the distance 7 times with a win a couple of seconds in the third, so 7 furlongs is not a stranger to that horse. Did show a lot better in its last late enthusiasm in its last race. And catching Sophia today with a weight break could be a difference maker. And now, where's the passion, Terry? Does have the top early speed, late speed combination in the field and is going to ride the hot rail. A little bit of an overlay there as well. Pick 4, I'm not really confident in any of these races today, to be honest with you, Terry. So I was a little uncomfortable putting together my pick 4s. I'm going to go 3, 6, 8 with the 1, 6. Going to single the 3 in the race number 4. And then I'm going to go 1, 4, 5 in the 5th race to close out my pick 4. Real hot dog stuff right there, Terry.
All right.
In the 3rd race, the horses are going to travel. Got a lot of different distances today. 5.5 furlongs, claiming 7,500. Non-winners of 3 lifetime. The purse is for $22,000. And in this short sprint, Terry, you would think you'd want speed, but so far it's been pretty fair. 50-50 between closers, stalkers, and speed types. Although when you do get to the front, 34% of the time, they take them from gate to wire. Once again, we see an inside 3 edge, 4 through 7, get a little bit of a penalty. 8 and out, plays fair, Terry. If speed is the way in race number 3, who is going to be the wire-to-wire candidate?
Well, it looks like the ones that has the most speed is going to have the, come out of the gate on the rail, so that's good. But there's also the 5 and the 4 with some, and all these horses show a little bit of speed. And then I think all of them have pretty good Z-zone numbers, with the 2 and the 1 having the best. And then the overlays would be the 2, which is supposed to be, like about 8-5 or so. It's 9-2 on the morning line. And then the 5 is supposed to be, again, around 9-5, and he's listed at 5-2 on the morning line. So,
and this race, if I remember correctly, has a lot of speed in it. Yeah, it does. Look, 1, 2, 4 of the 6 horses want to be up on the front. So a lot of times when you get that early pace, the speed of the speed is the way. And that looks like Mr. T and Freddiness. Those two got a little bit of an advantage over the 1 and the 4. So I would expect Freddie T, Mr. JT, and Freddiness, those two can get after it. So maybe they got to be careful they don't go too hot. They go a little bit too hot. The lone PC in here, Primordial Fear, could be dangerous with that late speed because it won't be all that far off the pace. Does have enough late legs maybe to close the show, especially if the 4 horses up front go too fast. Freddiness gets the best score of early speed and late speed. I think the 1 horse in here, Terry, who's going to be probably the best trip is the 2 horse. I can see this wall of speed, and it's sitting right off of that and trying to come home as the winner, although I didn't put him first.
All right. And good morning to you, Leonard. I think that's how you pronounce it. No.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Leaner Goza.
All right.
Hola.
In this 3rd race, I like that 5 horse, number 5, Freddiness. He drops in class today and has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Mr. JT is my second choice. The 6 horse has an early foot, so he should improve at the shorter distance and has a high percentage winning jockey and trainer. Jokemeister, the 1, is my 3rd pick. Finished 3rd versus similar in his last race. The rail post is winning at its 19% clip, and his best start speed is fastest among today's starters. And the 2, my long shot, finished 3rd versus similar in his last race and has the highest last speed rating. I'm going to do a 50-cent trifecta box, the 156.
Yeah, I'm really concerned about this 2 horse, Terry, with that strong C-zone and the great simulated odds. We've seen that come through, and it really should get a fantastic trip, and that's what the C-zone is actually confirming that. Probably should rank it a little bit higher. Right now I have it 4th, but in my bet, I still give it a shot to win. Mr. JT showed some major early speed improvement in his last. He's going to cut back a furlong from 6.5 furlongs to 5.5 furlongs. I think that could be a difference maker today. Jokemeister ran faster fractions at 6.5 furlongs than he did at 5.5 furlongs. Again, a beneficiary potentially of a cutback in distance. Freddiness, Terry's top pick. You got Jamie Ness, Ruben Silvera dropping in class. Another one. I think those 3 horses right there probably are your top 3, although Primordial Fear did run the top last race, speed figure last out, is the lone PC horse. Plenty of pace to chase. I wouldn't be shocked if that one came home. I think any one of those 4 can come home the winner. I went with a $1 exact key box, 6 over to 125. I probably should have put the 2 in there instead of the 6, but we'll go with what I have. And then we'll move on to race number 4.
All right.
In the 4th spot, Mr. Terry, I think they're going to run 1 mile. Yeah, they're really varying up the distances today at Parx. So keep an eye on how the bias works out. The one horse there came from off the pace a little bit. So usually Monday speed holds up at Parx, but today maybe not. We've seen a couple of days where closers just 1 and 1 and 1. So let's see if that holds up through race number 2. But in race number 4, they're going to run a mile. Early speed so far has been probably the most dominant at this distance than any distance at all at Parx, where 49% of the horses have won wire to wire. We do see an inside to outside bias, Terry, with early speed being a huge factor, Terry. Connoisseur, 93% chance to be on the front and a very high C-zone score.
That's right. The 1 has all the speed in the race, it looks like to me. Should get to that quarter pole first. The 2 has a little bit of an overlay, supposed to be like just over 3.5 to 1 simulated odds, and it's listed at 5 to 1. The 1 and the 4 have the best C-zone numbers, with the 6 following up with that. And so that's what it looks like for this race.
Yeah, in our race shape sheet, we see the 1 and the 3 early speed. The 6 has not been close, Strum and Pluck. Well, we just saw the 1 take up that position and win. So let's see if maybe the 6 can make a 2 on the day. The 1 and the 3, they want to be on the front. So looking at the early speed, it belongs to the 1 horse there, Terry. That is Connoisseur. It has a nice 8-point advantage over anybody else. The rest of them, the next 4, should be pretty tightly grouped. So they'll be battling it out. It's that late pace that hurts that 1 down here, but maybe he can rebound. True to Coden, 4 horse catching the top late speed number. And then the early speed, late speed combination belonging to True to Coden as well. And formal order, not too far behind. Those 2 have the best numbers there, Terry. I wonder if that speed might play out for Connoisseur, though. What do you think?
Maybe, but I like the 4 True to Coden myself. She went to Penn National, had a really disappointed finish, but she returns to Park Racing, where she finishes in the money 57% of the starts and wins 21% of them so far. Drops in class while doing that. Number 3 is my second choice, Singing in the Rain. Singing through the rain. Storm. Through the storm. That's right. That's right. She has finished in the money in 4 races out of her last 6 starts, winning 2 of those races, and her best start speed is fastest among today's starters. Formal order. My 3rd pick is the 2 horse, ran second versus similar in her last race, has the highest last speed rating and the highest speed figure at today's distance. I like the one that we've been talking about as my long shot, Connoisseur. She has a high percentage winning jockey, and the rail post is winning at a 21% clip. I'm going to do a 50-cent pick 4 here. I'm going to use the 3-4 with the 159 with the 1 as a single, and the 6 with the 1, 2, 5, and 7.
Yeah, I was trying to craft a pick 4 ticket here too, Terry, but I felt like any one of these 4 horses could win. Singing Through the Storm is the one I put on the top of the ticket because it's dropping back into a class where it finished second by a head the last time he tried at that level. And then he was finished third the other time before that, about a length off too. So this looks like the right classification for Singing Through the Storm. True to Coden, that 4 horse, Terry, at the distance, 11 times, 4 wins, 4 seconds and 4 thirds, yet to score in 11 times. So maybe one that likes to come up at the end, but just doesn't have the energy to come home first. Does have the top early pace late combination in the field with the most late speed. So if it's close coming around that corner, they might not be able to hold off True to Coden. Connoisseur, boy, you just cannot ignore that early speed and C-zone score right there, Terry, especially at a distance where 50% of the horses go wire to wire. It's 50%. It's got 90% means a 45% chance for this horse to go wire to wire, Terry. That's a big number. I think that's like 6 to 5 odds or something like that. So if that horse is over 6 to 5, it's a good bet just on probabilities. Number 2, Formal Order. Did run the top last race. Speed figure at this level last time out. Ran a little bit of a Z pattern where the early pace number is here. A little bit of a drop off in the middle of the race. Second wind to up the speed numbers as the horse came down the stretch. And that is the 3rd consecutive speed number increase in a row for Formal Order. Again, that is an alpha angle according to Barry Meadows in his book, The Skeptical Handicapper. Well worth the money. Trifecta for me, 1, 3, 4, over to 3, 4, over to 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm hoping that 6 doesn't repeat what the 1 just did and blow up my trifecta.
Yeah, I hope not.
Yeah, I hope not too. Hope is a tough way to go though, Terry, when you're doing horse racing picks, right?
Yep.
Race number 5 on the turf, 7.5 furlongs. A maiden special weight for 50 grand, Terry. They haven't run a whole lot of these so far. But so far in the 2 races, 1 went wire to wire, 1 closed, so nothing in the middle as of yet. One of the wins came from post through 4 through 7. The other win came from 8 and out. So at least the first 2 races, anything goes pace-wise, but maybe on the outside is where you want to be. So in the 5th race, Terry, if speed matters, what's a gizmo might be the one that they have to catch.
That's right. It's got the most speed. 5 shows a little bit, but I think it depends on the break on who gets out there to that quarter pole. The 5 is the only one I see with an overlay at 2-1 on the simulated odds, and it's supposed to be 9-2 on the morning line. And then the 1 has a nice overlay, 2-1 to 6-1 on the morning line. And then the 6 also has a fairly it is.
Good C-zone scores. Yeah,
I'm talking about C-zones. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. Yeah, the C-zone scores are good. And then also the 5 has an overlay too. So that's a pretty nice overlay.
Captain Courtney, yes, indeed. The one that looks like we both have a captain liking for. Look at this race shape. It's kind of interesting to me, Terry. My honey bunny didn't make your picks, and I'm so disappointed in you. And I think you should get a pan to the head by the time the show is over. But in any case,
I probably will get one. So
you should. Just on the name alone, the horse should have been your top pick. But
yep.
The 6 horse here, the Archer of the Prey. The Archer of the Prey. There you go. Looks like it wants to be the E-horse up on the front, Terry, but it probably ain't going to get there. What's a gizmo? Looks like the simulator says that. Looks like it's going to be your pace setter. Now act surprised. Oh, I didn't know the horse's name was My Honey Bunny. Not too far behind, but plenty of early speed in some of the horses that want to be forward. Maybe one that favors horses with late legs. That's the one horse, Tempest Rising, which is a lone P horse. Again, I mentioned whenever you see horses that are kind of off in the middle by themselves, definitely horses on the pace structure to consider. 3 and 9 who want to close. You see the 9 showing some late speed. The 3, not so much as of yet. And then the early speed, late speed combination, Captain Courtney. That one does get the top pick. It's 7 points better than anybody else. Perhaps that's the reason why it's at the top of our picks as well.
Yeah, I like Captain Courtney, number 5. That's my top pick. Finished 3rd versus similar on the dirt in her only start so far. Her breeding, though, suggests she'll like the grass, as the dam has 3 winners from 7 starters, with 2 of those being turf winners. She has a trainer who wins 19% of the horses in a horse's first race on the grass. So it has about a 20% chance to win here on the grass. Number 9, Vanilla Beans, our second pick, comes in from Penn National after finishing 2nd in her last race on the turf. So we know she likes the turf. And number 1, Tempest Rising. She finished 2nd versus similar on the dirt in her last race, and has a dam who has 1 winner from 2 starters, and a jockey who in the last 7 days have been in the money 6 out of 12 starts with 5 wins. The 4 horse, My Long Shot, finished 4th in her maiden race, but she has a dam who has 4 winners from 6 starters and has a high percentage winning trainer. I have not made a bet in this race.
Captain Courtney gets the top pedigree score by a pretty good margin here. So I think, it's an opportunity for this horse to show up and show that its pedigree matters. Does have consistent in-race numbers from start to finish in its debut. So when you look here, Terry, on number 5, just as a little heads up, Captain Courtney, as you see here on the early speed, late speed, mid-speed numbers, there's really not a drop-off, a really consistent effort. I like to see that in a debut horse. I think you're going to see improvement in race number 2 from that 5 horse. Number 4, Gryphon's Wings, 2nd career start. That first race was okay. Does have a couple of decent works in between. And it's a lot of these other horses are kind of moving up in class too, Terry. So this one's kind of staying in the same place. So I figure that it's because a lot are coming up. It's almost like a class drop for the 4 horse. Number 1, Tempest Rising, is our good friend Chris Parmalou's favorite angle. At this level, did run the top last race, speed figure, finished 2nd, has that super high C zone, great simulated odds as well. The lone off-track trip hints that this guy might like, or this lady might like the turf as well. And finally, Vanilla Bean, another one that finished 7th. So our good friend Chris Parmalou's angle back in place again. But fear for me is that maiden climb to maiden special weights, but should be closing at the end of the race. Although there was a one horse last week at Horseshoe Indianapolis where I made a switch with the 1 and the 6 because I didn't like the maiden claim and climber. And guess who won, Terry?
The one that you took out.
Which is cardinal rule number 1 of betting, Terry, is what?
Don't make a change. Go with your first impulse, though.
Yes, never change your ticket at the window. I can't tell you how many people told me that. Back in the day, where you actually had to go up to a teller. Not so much anymore. Now you just punch it into your computer. In the 6th race, our horses here are going to run 7 furlongs. Again, optional claiming 40,000. Non-winners of 2. Races lifetime. Again, at 7 furlongs, you are going to find that early speed has an edge a third of the time. They go wire to wire. If you so inclined to do so, it is the 50-cent Philly pick 5 race. Again, strong inside 3 bias, and then outside drops the further away you get from the rail. Inside speed, Terry, in race number 6. You got a couple horses in the inside that do have speed.
Yeah, most of them show speed here, but the 2 shows pretty good speed, and then the 7 has a nice speed on the outside there. The 1 is a nice overlay from even money, well, a lot less than even money, up to about 8 to 5, 7 to 5, something like that. And then as far as the C zones go, the 4, 7, and 5 have the best C zone looking numbers, but most of them have something to show for.
Yeah, I see the horse's name McCracken, the 7 horse. I can't help but think of like the Jerky Boys. I don't remember if you remember those people, but they used to make crank phone calls to people.
Oh, no, yes. I never.
Yeah, it was actually kind of funny. I mean, you could probably still find it on YouTube, but
yeah.
In any case, some of them are funny, some of them are obnoxious. Well, McCracken's Ghost is the lone E. The 1 horse, though, Paradise Valley, can be a pilot or a co-pilot. Again, one of those horses by himself, along with the 7. So those 2 should get race shapes that they're comfortable with on the lead. McCracken's Ghost should be your leader, although should be challenged by Parkerness, the 5 horse, a pressure horse. Although pressure horse wants to not be on the lead, so they probably acquiesce and let the 7 horse take command. When they're coming down the stretch, Terry, it does look like Paradise Valley has a huge late pace advantage over everybody else. 12 points. You put together that early speed, late speed combination, we're looking at a 15-point advantage for Paradise Valley. If you've been around here long enough to know that once it hits double digits, 10, you have to have that horse in your picks. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to win, but you can expect the horse to be very competitive and tough to beat, Terry, and I think we both think it won't be beat.
I do. Paradise Valley, the 1 horse, actually is my pick of the day. Best bet of the day at Parx. He won his debut race by 14 lengths at Park Racing. He switches to high percentage winning jockey. The rail post is winning a 21% clip, and his best start speed is fastest among today's starters. And then I like the 5 horse Parkerness. He finished in the money in 3 races out of 4 career starts, and he won one of the races and has a high percentage winning trainer. Then McCracken's Ghost, the 7, he finished 7th in his last race after coming into the stretch 6 wide. So he has an excuse. So I'm going to throw that race out. Has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey and a good 4 furlong workout on the 20th. He's my 3rd pick. My long shot is Pine Valley, the 2, has a high percentage winning trainer whose entries win 28%, or it wins 28% of the races when taking a horse from a sprint to a route to a sprint. I'm going to bet $10 to win on the number 1 horse.
I think the 1 horse, again, 15-point early speed, late speed advantage over everybody else. The maiden claiming win, all right. Not the biggest fan of maiden claiming risers. Did win by 14. Did run the top last race speed figure again. Maiden win with the top last race speed figure is another alpha angle that hits at 15% or more. So it doesn't scare me as much as usual. McCracken's Ghost at 7 horse. We are finding Jamie Ness, Ruben Silvera, the dominant duo at Parx. This one is going to drop in class. And the last race was better than it actually kind of looks on paper, with better early fractions, though it didn't finish very well. So I'm not quite sure if it was the class that it found difficult or the first run on the slop that he didn't like, because he has performed better on the fast track like you get today. Parkerness, the 5 horse down in class, is the most consistent horse in the field, Terry. and one that could benefit by cutting back in distance today. Then my last pick, number 2, Pine Valley, could be on the lead. Won with ease the last time and the only time that Frankie Pennington was the jockey on this race. I do worry about that 4-horse, though, too, Terry. If I remember correctly, it's dropping from a pretty big race at Belmont last time out.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a $1 exact the key box. I know I have the one on top, but I'm kind of hoping that the MCL Climber finishes second or maybe off the board altogether. And then 7 over to 125 with the backdoor exacta. I probably should have stuck the 4 in there, but I wasn't sure if I was going to have any money left. Probably
All right.
not, right?
I think you're about $1.50 under.
$1.50 under. So I can't put another one in there.
Nope.
All right. We have a few minutes before race number 2. So let's go out and get prepped for race number 7. In the 7th race at Parx today, 6 furlongs for the first time today, optional claiming 20 grand. The purse is 34 grand. We want to have a horse at 6 furlongs that has tactical speed. 37 out of 100 horses will take them wire to wire. You do have a mostly fair post positions, Terry, a little bit of an edge if you wear the number 8 or out. I don't think we have 8 horses in this field, so it's not going to be an issue, but we do see that speed early on does belong. Well, everybody has a shot here one way or the other.
They do, although it looks like the 4 and the 5 might have the best shot, and they'll maybe go head-to-head to that quarter pole. The 4 has an overlay just over 3 to 1 simulated odds, and it's listed at 5 to 1 in the morning line. And then the 5 is supposed to be like, 7 to 5, and it's listed at 7 to 2 on the morning line. As far as the C-zones, the 1, 5, and 6 have the best C-zone numbers.
Yeah, the 3 and the 4 are a little bit off pace in that respect. In this short field, in race number 7, we find that the 6 horse is one that has a little bit of an early speed, so it can play the pilot or co-pilot, can prove to be patient. The 1 and the 5 are PC types, so they're pretty versatile in here, Terry. The 3 and the 4 want to close. So early speed, I don't think it's going to be that important, although Eagle Man does have a 6-point advantage over everybody else. So just at its normal gait, could be about one length ahead of everybody else at the quarter-mile marker. As far as the late speed concerned, In Sky We Trust, the closer indeed does. The Easy Day, which should be close to the front, does have a little bit of late speed as well. And then finally, the early speed, late speed belongs to In Sky We Trust, Breezy Gust, and Eagle Man. Well, they're all within like 3 points of each other. So this tells me, Terry, this is going to be absolutely a wide open, anybody can win race. Who do you think is going to get the job done?
I think it's wide open too, but I went with the 5, Breezy Gus, as my first pick. He's another horse who's won 2 races in a row and is now going for a hat trick. Drops in class today and has a jockey who in the last 7 days have been in the money. 12 times out of 18 starts with 5 wins, 3 seconds, and 4 thirds. Eagle Man, the 6, is my second pick. Finished in the money in 8 races out of the last 9 starts, winning 3 of those races. Has a highest speed figure at today's distance, and his best start speed is fastest among today's starters. In Sky We Trust, the 3 is my third pick. Ran second versus similar in his last race. Has the highest last race speed rating. He's tied with another horse, and he has a high percentage winning jockey. The 4 is my long shot, Easy Day. He has won 6 races out of 13 starts at Parx Racing, so he likes this track, and he has a high winning trainer. I want to play at 50-cent pick 4, the 3, 4, 5, 6 with the 1, 4, with the 7, 10, with the 1, 2, 4, 6.
I am going to start with the 6 horse here in the 7th race. That one is Eagle Man. Did run the top last race. Speed figure has plenty of early juice when the gates open. We saw that in the simulator and in the way to the winner's circle. This one's cutting back from 7 furlongs to 6 furlongs, so should be more fit for this race. Number 5, Breezy Gust. The resume says he should up his output in the second up off the break. Taking a pretty good class drop in here as well. In Sky We Trust, trending in the right direction. And you have Paco Lopez riding in there, and he's been winning everything except the first race today. And then 4, Easy Day, regressed 3 races in a row, which is why I downgraded the horse a little bit, but does have the best Parx number and best numbers at the distance, but it's going to need to bounce back off of that 3-race regression. Pick 4 for me, 3, 5, 6. I hope the 4 doesn't bounce back. 2, 3, 4 with the 3, 5, 10 with the 2, 6, and 8. Again, Terry, just very difficult for me today to find any horses in there that I like all by themselves. We're about to start race. Yes, good indeed. Twin goods. Yeah, we do have some good in race 7, some good bunch of good C-zone scores in there. Really, I mean, this looks like a competitive race, especially the 3, 4, 5, and 6. Although with that strong C-zone, the top in the race, you can't throw that one out either.
No, you can't. So, and I don't know I don't know Spanish word.
It
so I don't know
says something about aquí means here, hora, something about, I don't know. Hora, I think, is hour. What hour? I don't know what Carrera means, but in any case, somebody who can speak Spanish perhaps can help us with that and translate it. We would appreciate it.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
On Vivo. We're not Vivo, but we will tell you what's going to happen in race number 2, which is coming up right now as they load into the gates. In race number 2, we both like the 3 and the 6 on top. I have a really cheap pick 4. Terry's going to go a little bit more expensive than I am. Still, borderline hot dog for Terry. Looks like a hot dog with a bun and maybe a little bit of condiments on his. So as they get into the gates for race number 2, it does look like that 3-horse Country Captain is the favorite right now at 8-5. Not the strongest of favorites. The 7-horse got out, Terry, to a pretty easy lead right there. It don't look like the jockey really asked him to do very much. So Franklin Gomez Jr. and Dadashev out on the front, but the 2-horse has since taken control. That is Mr. Tuttle. Looks like they're kind of going at a pretty fair pace to me, Terry. You got the 3-horse in third, 23-2. Yeah, pretty fair pace in there, Terry, for sure. Mr. Tuttle up on the lead there. So right now you're looking pretty good, Terry. I feel like with your 2-horse in there. The 7-horse remains to the outside. The 3-horse getting a nice stalking trip with cover behind the 7. The 1-horse is starting to fade pretty aggressively now. So I don't think you're going to see Where's the Passion at the end of this race. As they come through the opening half in 47-2, they slowed it down a little bit, Terry, though a little bit on the quick side, I feel like, maybe not for a 7-furlong race. The 2-horse is still looking very strong at this moment. 3-horse is riding nicely. I look like the jockey's biding his time, but you can't get him to straighten out his head, which I think could be a negative. And there he goes. He's made his move on the 3-horse. 2's getting a little bit of wobbly on him. The 7-horse on the outside is trying to make its move. Dadashev. But it looks like this race is going to be the 3-horses race all the way, Terry. It's going to go 3 and then 2 and then 7. 3, 2, 7, and then the 1-horse hanging in there. So both of us are alive on our pick 4s. Probably should have just singled that 3-horse, Terry, and saved ourselves some money.
Yeah, that's true. Although that 2 gave a good shot, didn't it?
Yeah, Mr. Tuttle did put a little bit of effort into that race. Good. nice combination of C-zone. Yep. And early pace for that 2-horse. So, yeah, it looks like speed kind of held up there a little bit.
It sure did.
Yeah, I was, like I said, I was uncomfortable pretty much across the board today. It's race time in English. Oh, okay, perfect. Thank you, Patrick. We appreciate that. I had the time part right. I thought a key meant here, but anyway, me and my I want to do like the Rosetta Stone or whatever those things are to help you with. Because we get so many people who speak Spanish. Somebody here has to be able to speak Spanish, right?
Yep.
All right. So we're off to race number 8 then. 3 races to go, 8, 9, and 10 for the Parx card. 6 furlongs in race number 8. This one is an optional claiming for $40,000. Non-winners of 2 lifetime. The purse is $42,000. Again, 6 furlongs is a pretty fair distance. 37% though go wire to wire. Post positions are fair, 8 and out, a little bit of a bonus, Terry. Early speed can be a factor in 6 furlong races, and it looks like the 2 and the 4 have the most of it.
That's right. The 2 and the 4 shows most speed, and it's anybody's guess on who gets there first, I think. Mm-hmm. The 1 has a nice overlay. It's supposed to be like 7-5, and it's listed at 3-1 in the morning line. The 4 is just over even money, and it's listed at 5-2 on the morning line. All of them have good C-zone numbers except for the 3.
Yes, again, another very competitive race, which I felt like a lot of the races were competitive today, which made it difficult for me to really square up on any of the pick 4s. In the race number 8, 2, 5, and 7 want to be. Now you got like a pyramid shape here. 3 and a 4 might pressure. This could open up nicely for the 1-horse in here. The lone closer, again, you see a horse by itself, especially since when you look at the early speed numbers, it's pretty competitive up front, so it could get hot. Valiant Majesty, one that wants to be on the lead, could find it to have difficult early footing, which could be discouraging at times. But if it does get the lead, along with the 4-horse, does have some of the most late speed in here, the 1, the 5, and the 4, the ones that'll be hanging on at the end. Ruth Ann, best combination by 6 points of early speed and late speed. So that horse should have a good shot, Terry, in here, I think, to be competitive and perhaps even win. What do you say?
I like the 4 Ruth Ann. She's finished in the money in her 2 career starts, and she won the last one at Parx Racing, has a high percentage winning jockey and the highest last speed rating. Then I like that number 1, Dream Chaser. Ran second versus Simon in her last race, has the highest speed figure at today's distance, and her best start speed is fastest among today's starters. And then the 3 Biogenic Babe. She ran second versus Simon in her last race. She's trained by Jamie Ness and ridden by Ruben Silviera. And then as my long shot, I like number 2, Dancing on My Own, has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. I want to save my money for the next race. So
I'm going to start with Biogenic Babe. It's just running against better horses down at Oaklawn Park. First off, the claim for trainer Jamie Ness, who everybody knows dominates Parx. He wins at 23% overall, but first off, the claim is 35%. That's a big-time alpha angle. And I don't know. I haven't tracked it. It's something that we're working on that hopefully we'll be able to roll out sometime in 2023. But when you look at the 6 furlong numbers at Oaklawn Park relative to what the other horses have run at 6 furlongs, if they translate roughly at all, horse could be at least a 1-length winner, maybe even more. He was like 2 seconds faster than anybody else. And I know that people have told us the Parx is a little bit deeper, so I expect it to take off some time, but I don't know if it's going to take off 10 lengths. That seems to be a pretty big number to me. Ruth Ann, the 4-horse, big maiden special weight win with the top last race speed figure, and did show some late improvement in the second start of its career. Going to make its first attempt to make it 2 races in a row without a break. Bless you. Number 2, Dancing on My Own. Pretty good class drop here. Frankie Pennington on with the Jason Service, the trainer. Those two have run together 14 times and won 6 of them. That's a pretty big win rate. Finally, Dream Chaser, the 1 horse, looks like one that likes to hang despite the great simulated odds to me. 4 times out, 3 seconds at the distance. Paco is riding, so maybe Paco can make up the difference. I'm going to do a try the 3-4 with the 2-3-4 with the 1-2-3-4 because I only had $1.50 left, Terry.
That's right.
I'm trying to keep that in mind because I know how I will be punished by Terry if I go over the top there.
And then this 8th race, Krista DeSouza likes that number 1 to win, likes the 91 on the early EP zone. So
there we go. Christopher Souza, good luck with you. And like Christopher, if you have any ideas of horses that you like today at any track, Parx, anywhere else that's running, please chime in and let us know in the community comments because everybody's looking for winners, Terry. That's why we're here.
That's it.
Even we're looking for winners, and the more of them, the merrier. In race number 9, the second to last race on the card. So if you're looking to do the daily double, here you go. 1 mile and 70 yards on the turf. At 1 mile and 70 yards on the turf for this allowance, 25,000, purse of 35 grand. They've run, I think, 4 races at this distance on the turf so far since the weather's improved enough to run them there on grass. 50% of the time, they've gone wire to wire. The other 50% of the time, they closed. Again, much like 7.5 furlongs, either be up in the front or be in the back. So far, none have won from the rail, so it could be a nightmare for American Nightmare. 2 and 3, they've outperformed a little bit. And 8 and out, that's where all the winners have come so far. 4 through 7, a little bit under par. Terry, I don't know how much speed is going to matter, but 50% have gone wire to wire. So if they go wire to wire, Dalton could be tough to run down.
That's right. Shows all kinds of speed, has really a nice number there. As far as the overlay, the 3 also has a big overlay. It's supposed to be like, 8-5 and is listed at 12-1 in the morning line. The 7 has an overlay. It's supposed to be close to 3-1. Double that to 6-1 in the morning line. The 5, 10, and 1 have the best C-zone numbers.
Yeah, this I think is an interesting race all across the board. In the 9th race, you don't have a true E-type that wants to be on the lead. It's actually a very balanced race. So it's kind of tough to say any one horse is going to have the trip advantage over anybody else. The 3 and the 6, those 2 are probably going to be your pace setters. I would expect the 6 probably the one to take charge maybe. As it is an EP type, so it can be pilot or co-pilot, whereas the 3 really wants to be more in a pressure position. So I'd imagine that they'll send, but probably not want to go to the lead. Codependent, 8-point late pace advantage over everybody else, but could be way off the pace at the beginning, Terry. So a lot of ground to cover at the end, so better make good use of that. Dalton, that early speed type, that overlay one, does have the top early speed, late speed combination by 5 points. That's where you really want to start paying attention. Could be one that pulls off the upset, Terry, but you like the 10 horse here.
I do. Possible Minty?
Possiblemente.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever that.
Yeah. He finished in the money in 6 races out of 7 career starts, winning 3 of those races, and his best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. Number 7, Road Trip to Nowhere. He won his last race at Parx Racing, has a high percentage winning trainer, and has the highest speed figure at today's distance. He's my second pick. My third pick, the 5, Sovereign Change. He won his last race at Parx Racing and has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Codependent, the 4, is my long shot, has a high percentage winning trainer and a bullet workout on May 20th. I'm going to bet $4 to win, which is all I have left on the number 10 horse.
So Chris D'Souza, it's in Bensalem, Pennsylvania, which is just outside of Philadelphia. That's where Parx is, where they did the Declaration of Independence and all that good stuff, the Philadelphia Bell. It's a good city to visit if you like American history. A lot of good stuff over in that area of the country. And then in race number 9, he likes the 4 to win on the 91 on that late pace number for Codependent. Yes, indeed. One will be coming late. Just going to need the setup up front to take advantage of those late legs. I'm going to go with the 5 horse here, Terry. That one is Sovereign Change. This horse ran last Tuesday and won with a huge late pace number. It's been on the grass a couple times, undefeated in 2, and Paco's going to stay on this horse there, Terry. I don't know about you, but whenever I see horses turn around that quick, more often than not, they perform really well. Yeah. Possiblemente, the 10 horse, the one Terry thinks is going to score, is ahead and 2 necks away from winning 6 of its last 7 races down at Tampa. But everyone is close at the end, so it'll be there at the end. The question is, will it finish second or third by a head or a neck, or will it win by a head or a neck? Dalton, that 3 horse with all that early speed, Terry, is the top early pace, late pace horse in the field. Big overlay, really good chance to be on the lead, and 50% of the horses in the 4 races have gone wire to wire, so why not? And then finally, number 7, Road Trip to Nowhere, should improve in the 3rd race after a layoff. Was 3rd in its lone trip on the Parx turf. It was a tough call for me over that 4 horse Codependent too. So because Codependent, along with that big late pace numbers, has the top pedigree in here by a pretty long way for turf. I'm going to do a double with that quick turnaround Sovereign Change, a horse at 4 to 1. Maybe those odds drift up a little bit for me. Over to 2, 4, 6, and 8. So I'm going to take an odd number horse and then all the even number horses in the last race.
All right. It looks like Christopher wants to know where Parx is at, and it's in Pennsylvania. It's close to Philadelphia.
Right outside of PA, in Bensalem, Pennsylvania. Race number 10, the final one on the card. They're going to go 1 mile and 70 yards this time around, Terry, on the dirt. At 1 mile and 70 yards on the dirt so far, if we look at the profile of the winner, what we're going to find is that early speed, again, does well. 28% of the horses, so a little bit of a cutback in terms of some of the other distances going wire to wire. You do have a strong rail edge for Cartier Cats and Sofia Vivas, which scares the heck out of me because I don't have them in my picks. But 2 through 7 run fair, 8 and out, a little bit of a discount. Terry, early speed in this race. It's going to go ahead and belong to the 2 horse, Xavier.
Yeah, 2 has a lot of early speed, and 5 is the only thing that seems going to give it a little bit of competition. But I think this 2 is going to get it there real fast. So look at that 5's overlay. It's supposed to be like 5 to 2, and it's listed at 8 to 1 on the morning line, and the 8 is a large overlay. It's supposed to be 2 to 1 on simulated odds, and listed at 12 to 1 on the morning line. All of these have really good C-zone numbers except for the 3.
Indeed. For the final time today, looking at how this race plays out, you don't really have a true E-type. The 2, 5, and 8, they're versatile, so I'd expect one of those 3 to probably take the lead. We saw on the simulation that the 2 has the most speed, Xavier, so that one probably is going to be your pace setter. Although chain reaction will chase. Again, that's what we saw when we saw the simulations there. The late speed belongs to you, Terry, Super Dude, but tied with St. Marco. And then when you look at the early speed, late speed combination, this again sets up to be a pretty competitive race. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 horses that are within a point of each other at the end. Again, I think that opens up a race where just about any of those 5 and maybe some others, the 1 horse even coming off that drop and Sophia on that rail, I think maybe 6 of the 8 horses you can make a case for, Terry. So make your case for your 4.
All right. The 2 Sevier is my first choice. Drops in class today. Has a high percentage winning trainer. And this trainer's entries win 32% of the races when taking a horse from a sprint to a route, and his best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. Then Spicer Red, the 6 horse, my second choice. He finished in the money in 6 out of 10 races at Parx Racing. He won 3 of those races. He switches to a high percentage winning jockey. Awesome Launch is my third pick. He's number 4 horse. Finished in the second versus similar in his last race. And then I like Cartier Cat. The 1 horse is my long shot, returns to the dirt where he seems to do better and likes the distance. So that's my picks. No money left. Can't make any bets here.
Rich Lane says race number 9, the 3, the 10, the 7, exacta, try, straight, and box. Great show. Thank you. If you agree with Rich Lane, please thumbs up on Twitter. I can't thumbs up on Twitter, on Facebook, as well as YouTube. If you haven't done so, please subscribe on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell when we go live. So tonight you can tune in with Terry and Sean as they talk to Tyler Connor about the ongoings at Penn National for the Penn Mile this Friday night. Big night of racing. So if you're in Pennsylvania, make sure you check that out. And in race number 10, it looks like Christopher Souza there likes the 7 to win with that strong C-zone score. Mr. Terry, I'm going to go ahead in race number 8, and I'm going to start with the long shot in here. St. Marco. I'm kind of curious why that horse is 12 to 1. Did run the top last race speed figure last time out. Was a better mile and 70-yard time by more than 3 seconds. So top last race speed figure, big time fraction improvement. And if you can run back, I think it was 3 races to the Marth H race, this race won't be close because he like to get mile and 70 yards in a minute and 46 seconds, which I don't think any horse in this race can do that, or at least hasn't shown they can. Spites the Red. What I like here is the owner and the trainer are the same person. And I've seen over and over and over at Parx, owner, trainer, winner. So they seem to put the horses in the right spots if you're the owner-trainer type. Won by 6.5 lengths, the only time Paco rode. That was 2 races ago. Paco's back on today. Number 2, Sevier. Does like Parx, ran there 17 times, won 11 of them. Finished third 2 more times. Hasn't finished second of to date. But I'm not a fan of the big-time regression last time out. I looked to see what happened the last time the horse regressed, and it didn't run a good race the next time out either. So a little bit concerned about that. And then finally, number 4, Awesome Launch, finished second at this level last out, whereas most of the others in this race are coming up in class. And I expect some improvement out of Awesome Launch in the second start after the layoff. But I do worry about that Cartier Cat, Terry, coming in with Sophia Vives. I think that one's coming in from Fairgrounds. Tried the turf last time out, didn't like it. So you have to kind of toss that race out. So that one scares me a little bit at the end as well. I do have a trifecta, 2, 6, 8, over to 2, 6, 8, over to 2, 4, 5, 6, and 8. And that wraps it up for today, Terry, in terms of all of our Parx picks. Here you can see all of them from race to race to race. In race number 1, the 1 came home the winner. Neither one of us had him. In race number 2, the 3 horse is the winner so far.
Okay, so go ahead.
It's just please show pics of both in the Excel table by races, please. I think this is what you're looking for, right? Is this what you're looking for, Carlos? I hope it's what you're looking for because that's what we have on the screen right now. If it's not what you're looking for, let us know in the comments section. We would certainly like that. I see in race 5, Rich Lane here likes the 591 exacta, try straight and boxed. Indeed, good luck to everybody. And good luck to you tonight, Terry, with Sean. I know he's a terrible co-host.
Yeah, well, this be my second time. So, it's like I'm learning. So.
No, I just kid. Sean is a fantastic co-host. Jamie says there is no better co-host in all of America. So I disagree with you, Jamie, very rarely. And that's one of the times I think that Terry's the best co-host. All right. So here are all our total picks. Again, tomorrow I'll be back with Big Boopa. It's even his nickname now down in the names there. Big Boopa.
Oh, good.
Charles. He and I will do Horseshoe Indianapolis. Again, tomorrow night, I think we have the owner of Mage on as the guest with Sean. So that should be
good.
Yeah, that'll be tomorrow night. Make sure you check that out. Thursday, I'm not sure if Belmont's running or not, but if it is, Charles and I will do Belmont on Friday. Myself and Tom will be back for the Epsom Derby, as they call it over there in England. I had a really, I don't know if you watched the show with Tom and I for the Foreign Friday at last. I forget where we did it already because I'm brain dead. But I had the winner in every race, Terry, and a couple nice exactas and trifectas. So
yeah, I did watch it. It was a good show.
So if you're into international racing, make sure you check that out. We do it because so many international horses find their way over here, especially around Breeders' Cup time. So we want to be familiar with the names, the trainers, the races, who does what over there. So come Breeders' Cup time, we don't miss any of those 70-1 shots coming across the Atlantic Ocean. If you'd like to help support the show, aside from hitting the likes and the thumbs up and the subscribing and telling your friends about us, if you go over to horseracingtoday.net, click on HRT gear and pick yourself up a hat. You'll look as good as Terry. I don't know. No matter what I wear, Terry, I probably won't ever look as good as you do, but I try with my Horse Racing Today gear. So please check that out as well. Any final thoughts before we get out of here today, Terry?
Yeah, I just hope everybody has a safe week and a fun week. And if you're going to play the races, I hope you have a winning week. And I think you should tell your loved ones and friends and that, give them a kiss and a hug and tell them you love them, because you never know what's going to happen day to day.
No, like Steve Jobs says, if today was the last day of your life, would you do what you're about to do? I got to say, Terry, every morning I look forward to getting together with you and Charles. It is something I like to do. We do it for free, even though we've been accused of being shills for the industry. I wish we were shills for the industry.
So do I.
I would take a dime at this point, but in any case, that's why we ask you to help us if you can with the likes and stuff so we can get to 10,000 users. In any case, no matter what it is you're doing today at work, just taking the day off after Memorial Day, off to the beach, got a good drink in your hand, just betting at Parx or any track. We certainly hope that you do have God's grace and favor, and that every single thing that you do owns up in one place, and that can only be
the winner's circle.
Yes, indeed. Thanks for joining us again today. Look forward to catching up with you tomorrow. Have a fantastic, terrific Terry Tuesday.